postpartum anxiety is a real thing and it can be very scary.
I am Lori Leander, and I am a co-founder of Reclaiming Civility. My business partner, Lisa Brandt, and I started this organization to train in the skills of civility that are so much needed right now in our culture.
Yeah. So let's just break it down. What is civility? Because I think we assume
Right.
people know what that word even means.
Yes.
What does that mean? And kind of give us some examples.
Okay, so there are a lot of definitions of civility out there. We hold to the one that our friend put forth, Alexandra Hudson, in her book, The Soul of Civility. And we really think this is the most thorough definition because she has done extensive research, and she goes all the way back to the beginning of history, right? All the way through, she shows that there is a timeless problem and a timeless solution. Timeless problem, someone rises up with a timeless solution. It's always the same. So the timeless problem is human beings are wired with love for others. We're social beings. We crave connection, and we also prioritize self-interest. So these two things run in tension all the time. It's wired into us, human nature. The timeless solution is to view every other human being, this is the definition of civility, as having inherent value, just because they're human, worthy of respect, dignity, whether we agree with them or not, whether they can, right? That's a hard one in our culture. Whether they can do anything for us or not, whether they annoy us to death or not. They are a human being, and as such, they have inherent value. If we can get that in our minds, that is the beginning of the process. So it's and then the second part of that is to learn to restrain our inclination to prioritize self-interest. And we do that, really, that's emotional intelligence. What am I feeling and why? Emotions are so powerful. How can I harness that power? Think through, how is my behavior affecting the people around me?
So tell us how your personal life shaped your passion about this.
Wow. I grew up with a very strong performance mindset. Okay, performance versus growth. Performance. Perfectionism. There were some things in my upbringing that caused confusion in my mind, quite a bit of confusion. And so a part of it is probably just my personality. I'm that curious type of person that asks maybe one too many questions because I always want to understand. But I started going, I want to clean up this chaos. I want to understand, how do things really work? What is the truth here? And that was kind of a lifelong quest. So I've just always been kind of a searcher. But when I was working with high school student leaders, I came across emotional intelligence and then a specific form of it called relational wisdom. And when I started understanding all those pieces and how the brain works and how we can affect each other, how we can harness that power of our emotions, it is possible.
It is possible.
That's so hopeful.
Tell them it is possible.
It is possible. It is possible. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm such a nerd about this. When I started learning about the neuroplasticity of the brain, our brain's ability to develop new neural pathways all throughout our life.
This is what I teach all the time. Like mental strength is about redefining that, creating new neural pathways. The how. How do you actually teach mental strength? And you're talking about emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Sometimes we talk about emotional intelligence and mental strength as like, you have it or you don't. Like, there's this personality test to see if you're emotionally intelligent. But you're saying you can learn it.
We totally can.
Yeah.
I mean, that is why I'm so excited about this. It's helped me to get unstuck. It's helped so many people to get unstuck, and it's just so hopeful to know that we can learn and grow. We can practice little small acts over and over again can become durable change.
Right.
Just the way we talk to ourselves, so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that our audience can relate, tell us about a hardship that you wish you had more mental capacity, mental strength to handle that hardship.
Wow. There's quite a few directions I could go with this. I shared with you a little bit the other day about a real, it was a hormonal emotional crisis. After I had my third baby, I was pushing 40. So my hormones were
not being nice to you.
Not being nice to me. And there were other circumstances in my life, and I did a lot of reading and learned that as women, when we have these hormonal crisis, it's like an earthquake where the fault lines kind of move, and then any of this undealt with stuff comes to the top.
Yeah.
And that kind of happened with me. And so this was a very scary time in my life because I felt like I was hanging on to my sanity by just the tippy tips of my fingernails. That's what it felt like. Yeah. Now, I've learned since this is emotions and...
Can we call it what it's called? I mean, couldn't we say that this was postpartum depression?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Let's just call it.
We will call it postpartum depression, even though, and this was what confused me, is that postpartum anxiety, which is what I experienced, is more common than the actual depressive piece.
Yeah.
But they're lumped under the same category, so you don't hear about it. So all I heard about was, you can have, most people have the baby blues, and then it can become postpartum depression, and then it can turn into psychosis. And there have been some very public cases about postpartum psychosis and moms that kill, which I happen to view some of those, the coverage of that while I was in the hospital giving birth to my baby.
Yeah.
And it sent an arrow of fear into my heart. And I went, what if that's me?
Right.
You know, because I felt off. I didn't feel right. I felt like I would wake up in the morning after being up all night with a screaming baby, and she was a screamer, oh my, and I would be up all night with her, and I woke up feeling like I had had 2 venti coffees, even though I was not touching caffeine or chocolate or anything that could exacerbate it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is going on with me? It was terrifying. I thought I was losing my mind.
Yeah.
But then I learned more. And, and
what made you, what was your initiation? So if there's someone out there that is experiencing this or a loved one that's experiencing this, what was the thing that made you say, I need to talk to someone else about this?
Yes. Because I thought I was losing my mind. I really didn't care if anyone, I'm fighting for my sanity here. And so I would just, in different circles, I'd throw it out. And in some situations, I'd get crickets back. That's too bad.
So you felt judged?
I did. I'm like, this isn't safe. But that was rarer than the situation where someone would go, me too. Oh. I haven't talked to anyone about this. I've had the same thing. And I was at a dance class with my daughter, and I was sharing with some of the other moms there, and one of the moms said, I had the same thing happen, and I want you to go see this doctor. She's DO. She's done a lot of research on hormones. She's non-conventional. So I went to see her, and that was very helpful because the traditional doctors just wanted to put me on meds, and she said, you have been misprescribed. That was not the right prescription for you. And she looked at my numbers and said, your progesterone, your calming hormone, is almost non-existent. You need to get on that ASAP. And so that was a turning point because she offered me a solution that was physical. Like there was something I could do right then. I could start taking these.
And you could see objectively what she was talking about.
Yes, I could see it. And that was a relief. And then I also went to therapy and said, okay, let's deal with all this stuff that's coming up through the
Well,
cracks.
that was my next question too, because in the Mentally Strong Method, this is what I teach, like where you are pulling the other things that are like coming to the surface and
Yes.
organizing them. Because we often talk about, oh, you need to process these things that happen to you. You need to go to counseling. But if you're just going and talking, you don't know what to do with these things that are coming up. And so let's talk about what, you don't have to get super personal, but what else was enmeshed or entangled in these feelings of anxiety and wanting to make sure you did best for your child?
Right.
What else came up?
So thank you, organizing.
That is the key word in the Mentally Strong Method. Can we think through our problems? Can we organize them so that we can make choices in line with what we want?
I love that. Where were you?
Organization is often the missing piece. The Mentally Strong Method teaches this think, organize, and choose. I will be offering a free training. I would love for you to join us. Click the link in the description to learn more about how the Mentally Strong Method can help you.
Darn it.
Yeah, well, I'm here now and we can
Okay.
help, other women who are struggling.
Absolutely, because it is terrifying to sort through. So I think I needed to organize what is just physical. There's really a physical component here. Hormones are real. And they are powerful, and they will do a number on you.
Yeah.
So, deal with that. Go find someone who really understands hormones. Find a specialist who really understands hormones. And so that was number one. But number two, there was trauma in my childhood that I needed to bring out into the open.
Yeah.
Because the more you, it just stays in that closed system of your mind, it has way too much power.
Oh, power is important. So as this trauma came up for you, what was helpful? What shifted? What allowed you to organize that trauma and how it was still impacting you?
I think what was helpful is, first of all, I experienced a lot of self-condemnation, right? Perfectionism. Okay, so performance orientation, and if I fell short of that mark of perfection, there was moral judgment. And I lived in fear of making mistakes because I couldn't just brush it off and go on, right? I worked so hard to, and I also have been kind of the go-between and mediator and, let's soften people and you know what I'm talking about. And so I've carried a lot of that. So other people's trauma matters, mine doesn't. I have to hold it together to make sure everybody's okay. So I minimized mine so that I can make sure everyone else is.
And that was your survival.
That was my survival.
What was the shift? Or have you made that shift yet?
Oh, I did. And I did make the shift. So in that therapy, I think that it was so important to hear just reality being spoken back to me. Of course you responded that way. Of course, this makes sense. Oh, empathy for what it was a big deal. That was a big deal, right? Oh, I minimized it. No, that was a big deal. Someone actually saw me, saw my pain, heard me, that empathy.
Right.
The empathy was huge, and it helped me see myself, with more compassion, first of all. There was maybe some anger for a while. Like, I'm not putting up with.
Yep.
I went through that phase for a little bit, and I had too high of boundaries probably. and those, now as I'm feeling more and more confident, and those boundaries have, I think, become a little more realistic.
Right.
But I did have to go through that. Did I have to? Maybe I didn't have to. I went through that phase.
I mean, you were trying to organize, right? And,
yes.
And fear we have to put back, sometimes you have to put back up that boundary before you can let it down, right?
Yes. Yes.
And that was your self-protection. That was your choice to
Yes.
protect, but you didn't stop there. And that's what's important, right? Like, oftentimes people, I'm just going to put up these boundaries. I'm going to cut these people off forever.
Yes.
And some people deserve to be cut off forever. I'm not
Sure.
sure. But,
Sure.
Learning that, okay, this is what I need in this season of my life. And how is that impacting you now? Where are your boundaries for taking care of yourself?
Yes. Such a great question. I think, first of all, I'm understanding grace more and more. Mm-hmm. So when we understand grace towards ourselves, we can extend it to others.
Yeah.
And one of my my former neighbor gave me this fabulous definition of what it means to not judge someone. Mm-hmm. It means that you understand that if you were that person, you have their personality, their upbringing, their life experiences, whatever mm-hmm. their level of education, you would likely be making the same choice. Right?
Or worse.
Or worse.
Right.
And so people do what makes sense to them mm-hmm. in that moment.
Right.
Right? The dysfunctional habits that we become attached to, it's because they make sense to us mm-hmm. in the moment. And we need someone from the outside to say, this doesn't actually make sense anymore. You have more agency here.
Right.
You don't have to revert to that thing anymore.
Let's talk about agency, because I do talk about
Yeah.
self-agency a lot. It's another word that I don't think people truly understand, mm-hmm. that we are actually in the driver's seat, mm-hmm. right? That, mm-hmm. And I see this in the mental health community of, I have anxiety, I have depression, and so therefore I can't. Mm. And I try to empower people. Yes, what you experienced was real, and you needed help, intervention. You needed, someone to understand that and help you through that. Mm-hmm. But you were also in the driver's seat. Yes. You got to make choices. You got to respond
yes.
in different ways. So talk to me about what agency means to you. I love the word.
Yeah, I know. just that word makes me happy.
Yeah.
Because I think I felt powerless most of my life. I felt just powerless. I don't like to use the word victimized, but I don't even.
But
really...
I think we often feel like victims to our environment, yes. to our life story, the things that have happened to me. What's happened to me, and
yes.
Sometimes it's real easy to get angry at God and and feel like a victim.
Yes.
Right. So what does that driver's seat mean? And maybe we can even do it in relation to your faith.
Yes.
How does your faith and self-agency work hand in hand?
Okay. Yes. This is great. So, what agency means to me, let me take you back into that postpartum story.
Yeah.
So, here was a turning point. I knew nothing about postpartum depression or anxiety or mm-hmm. anything like that. I was literally, 6 weeks postpartum. I had a house full of company. All the relatives want to come and come and come. Mm-hmm. And so I went up into my bedroom, and I was having a panic attack. I didn't know it. I was having a panic attack. Mm-hmm. I went face down on the ground in the carpet, and I was praying. Mm-hmm. And I just said, help me, God, help me. I feel mm-hmm. like I'm losing my ever-loving mind. Mm-hmm. What the heck is going on with me? And it wasn't an audible voice, but the words came into my head. You have nothing to be afraid of but fear.
And I got goosebumps when you just said that. I totally got goosebumps. That is beautiful. Yeah.
And so and then I ran into the other mom mm-hmm. at dance, and she said, read this book. It's old. It's from the 80s. It's called From Panic to Power. It's not in print anymore. This was a godsend, this book.
Yeah.
And then I started reading. Sure enough, I have nothing to fear but fear. The panic was feeding on itself. It was like a cycle. And then I became afraid of the triggers that were going to trigger this
Right.
And so, and then I learned you have a choice over what you're going to think. What? I have a choice?
That's my whole think, organize, choose. Yep. Love it.
Wow. It's powerful because I think there are some voices in our culture that are saying, you don't have a choice. It's, you know, whatever genetics you have or whatever, that's
God, whatever God's will for your life, whatever. Yeah.
Whatever it is, and determinism. But we know that's not true. We know we don't have control over everything, and that's wrong to set that one up too high. But we do choose how we're going to think about things. And so when I started filling my mind with truth and facts and perspective and all of that, you know, my favorite verse in the Bible is, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. And that is my theme verse, because I felt like I had a mind of chaos, and then all of a sudden this lifeline of truth started coming in, and more and more, and I was grabbing it like this, like hungry. This is my only hope. None of my bag of tricks, you know, like all the bag of tricks that I didn't even know I was using to make myself feel better, sawdust in my mouth. I had no more bag of tricks. I was desperate, and that's when I heard that word in my head, and that led me to some very practical things.
Right.
But also, I knew that I was connected to a spiritual force, that God was by my side, and he was not gonna let me stumble.
Yeah.
He was gonna lead me through this, and that gave me peace. That was truly my anchor.
Yeah.
But then I was led to people, conversations, books, and I voraciously consumed.
What do you wish people understood more about what mental strength really is?
I think everything we've just been saying here, we have agency, we can choose what we're going to think, and that is backed by science. And
you can still believe in God.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's the one who designed us this way. He designed us this way. And our brain, that word malleability, when I learned about that, I went, that's my ace in the hole here. And I can work on this. And I can choose the thoughts I'm going to think. And it might not be easy, but I can do it.
Yeah. So to our audience, if there's someone out there struggling with postpartum depression, what would you say to her? Or postpartum anxiety. I say depression just because the DSM is like ingrained in my brain, but this postpartum anxiety that you experience, what would you say?
Yes, and I mean, they're both crippling. I have so much compassion for both of those, because they are real. It is not in your head, and people may look at you like, oh, you're just making something up. No, you are experiencing it physiologically, measurably in your body. And so have so much compassion for yourself and seek help. Help is there to be had, and there's so much power in Me Too. Find a community, find people who are, even if they haven't experienced the same thing, if you can find a friend who has gone through it, that is so helpful. But even not, I had friends around me who hadn't really experienced it, but they would listen to me. They were so supportive. It was completely 1,000% safe. I felt supported. You can choose the thoughts you're going to think, read up, become educated and empowered, and get your hormones checked.
Absolutely. So the last question is, what are you currently learning because we're all kind of on this journey forever. You talked about a very vulnerable time in your life, but you're still learning.
Yes.
What are you learning now about mental strength and moving forward in that journey?
I think that performance mindset is it's not easily shed, but I'm shedding.
It takes a lifetime.
It takes a lifetime. But I think more and more I'm understanding how absolutely crippling expecting performance and judging our performance every time, how crippling that has been in my whole life. And I'm saying, I'm almost getting mad and saying, I don't care. I care more about growth. And by the way, when I was so focused on my performance, I was focused on me and not how can I serve the people around me. And when I'm focused on the people around me, I'm thinking less about, did I do that just right? And now, not to minimize, it's understandable. If you heard my story, you go, oh, of course you thought that way.
Right.
It was survival.
Right.
But now it doesn't serve me anymore because I know better.
Right.
I know better. I've been informed and empowered. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh.
What an amazing interview of a powerful woman turning her panic into power and really learning what mental strength is in the midst of a chemical thing going on, that postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression. If you want more information about what I do at Mentally Strong here in Colorado Springs, we have a full clinic, we have programs. We'd love for you to attend one of my free training, and you will be able to learn more about how we can help. Click the link below.